A frantic search for survivors is underway in New Zealand tonight after a devastating earthquake struck the South Island city of Christchurch. At least 65 people are dead, but that's expected to rise in the coming hours as aftershocks rock the region. The city centre is in chaos. Makeshift medical centres have been set up in streets, while other areas have been evacuated or cordoned off. Alistair Dumbleton experienced the full force of the quake, and he joins me now live on the phone. Alistair, I understand that you live just out of Christchurch, but you were visiting the city today. Tell us what you went through and what you saw.
Well, it was very, very sudden. I was doing some shopping with a mate, and the quake hit very, very quickly and violently. During the later stages of the shake, I exited the store. We were right in the middle of in the dead centre of Christchurch in Cathedral Square, and as I exited, I managed to capture the whole cathedral spire collapsing right in front of me, and it's extraordinarily tragic. And I thought, well, if there's that much devastation, then there must be death. And I just looked around, and there were hundreds of people just in absolute shock, and I froze. I didn't really know what to do at that point.
It must have been a scene of absolute chaos. I'm sure everyone around you felt the same way, do you think?
Absolutely. People were pouring out of buildings. There were older buildings in the same area, the Cathedral Square collapsing, even after the earthquake had finished. And, people were just in shock. People were in tears. People just had no idea what to do. It was devastation. And that was only a small taste of it. The devastation further afield was just as bad, and people's reactions, mirrored that.
We know the death toll is already at least 65. From what you saw, do you think it is going to be much higher than that?
Without a doubt. Watching the cathedral spire collapse, there are people. There's a small viewing platform up there, and there would have been people on there, and they just wouldn't have stood a chance. And from what I've heard, there's many multi-storey buildings in town, older ones and newer ones, which apparently collapsed. And that time of day, busy day, they would have been full of people. So I think the 65. That report came through a long time ago, so I think it would already be higher than that, I would guess. And it's only going to grow, and it's just tragic. It's unprecedented for Christchurch. We're just not used to this sort of thing. We've had a couple of earthquakes before, but no deaths. So it's just taken everyone by surprise.
How did you get out of the city?
After the quake, after I collected my thoughts, I ran a couple of blocks away where my girlfriend works and found her. Then we ran another couple of blocks, found her mum, and then both were okay. And we made the decision to jump in a car and try and get out of the city back to the part of the extremity of the township where we live. And we did that, but 2.5 hours of traffic hindered our progress somewhat. But we drove, and I think that's what just about everyone else in the city did as well. We eventually got there.
Alistair, it's clearly a very difficult time for all of you there. I thank you for taking the time to join us with that account.
No problem at all.
Well, the people of Christchurch, as we've just heard, are still reeling from a major quake which devastated the city of 340,000 people just 6 months ago. Here's what the New Zealand Prime Minister, John Key, and the Mayor of Christchurch, Bob Parker, had to say a short time ago.
The problem has been that last time we were blessed by the fact that it took place at the middle of the night, no one was around. It's been the polar opposite this time. We're 10 to 1 in the day, a lot of shoppers out, a lot of people at work, obviously kids at school. So the advice I've had so far is that 65 people have lost their lives. We can't rule out death toll climbing from there. I think that's a reflection of the fact that you've had people trapped in buildings, you've had the facades of buildings collapsing on people as they've been going down the street. And while the information flow is not perfect here, that's the best advice that we've had. So, look, New Zealand may be staring down what is its darkest day as we take stock of a city that's been utterly wrecked by a massive earthquake. It's hard to put words around this. I mean, this is a city that suffered an enormous earthquake 6 months ago, but I think we all went away and said how lucky we were that it happened at a time where lives were spared. But as I say, it's the opposite this time. The central city last time obviously bore some of the brunt, but nothing like this time where it's just been utterly devastated. And, the buildings collapsed everywhere. There's liquefaction all over the place. The roads are in a state of complete disrepair. It's just hard to describe what was a vibrant city a few hours ago now has just been brought to its knees.
What we know at the moment that it's very much focused in the central city area. We know that there were casualties among people who were walking in their lunch break alongside some of the buildings in the central city area. You've heard about the cathedral. You've heard about one high-rise in town which has collapsed, and there are believed to be a significant number of people in there. I've spoken to some of those who got out, and they're telling me, look, they know there are people alive in there, and we've been assuring them we're doing absolutely everything we can. The USAR people, the defence forces here in the city, the police, the ambulance services, we are ensuring that we are keeping capacity in our main hospital tonight by medevacing people out to outlying hospitals so that capacity can be sustained throughout the night as we bring casualties in. And I've just got to ask people to remember some simple things tonight, as hard as it's going to be, and I think this will be a night in which very few people will be sleeping in our city. We've got to stay as calm as we can. We've got to conserve water. We're asking you, please, to watch out for the wastewater systems. Don't flush the loos unnecessarily. We may be seeing a significant amount of power come back on for the city before the night is out, but to be really honest with you, prepare for no electricity tonight.